In a bid to celebrate 100 days in office for Senator Monday Okpebholo as the governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Oshomhole, who happens to be 2 times governor of the state, presently senator representing Edo North, went to ITV to give his own assessment to tell more about the achievements so far recorded by Monday Okpebholo. But if you ask me, is he supposed to be the one, or rather the mouthpiece of the governor? One would expect if governor is not present, the commissioner of information, or rather the secretary, will be there to do the needful. Because so many persons have already alleged that Oshomhole is the one calling the shot. But Okpebholo is just there. That Adams Oshomhole is using this to achieve his own third-term agenda. What is your take? Meanwhile, before you jump into conclusion, it's a lengthy one. Sit tight and watch the entire interview and drop your comment on the comment section. Thank you as you do so.
Wherever you're watching across the world, once again, we thank you for keeping a date with us on the show TMI on the ITV network. In today's program, we have in the studio a former 2-term governor of Edo State, a former Labour leader, former party chairman, and of course he's also had the singular honor and privilege to represent his constituency at the Senate. I'd like to welcome very specially distinguished Senator Adams Oshomhole. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Sonny, thank you once again for having me quite some time.
It's really a delight to have you here. I mean, perhaps close to 8 years or 10 years you've been to this studio.
Yeah, about 10.
Thereabout.
10, 11 years.
You still look young. Yesterday night, I saw you jumping as usual. So where is this energy coming from? It's like maybe we need to do some scientific analysis of your genes to know if we can replicate them for some marketing and all of that.
Well, like I say, as a layman, is that to God be the glory. He gives health and life to those he chooses to. I'm humbled. But I didn't have any activity yesterday.
Okay. Maybe we'll show the video.
Okay.
Anyway, that's on the light side. How has it been with you since leaving the position as the governor of Edo State and transiting to become a parliamentarian? How has that journey been for you? How have you been able to handle that transition?
Thank you very much. So let me congratulate you for keeping the station going. I do watch from Abuja because I'm always interested to knowing what is going on in Edo State because I remain Edo citizen. We're transiting from an executive position after a while to be national chairman of the EPC. We had 2 completely different jobs. One, as a governor, is to think through the challenges in your environment and think through how to address them, find the funding and identify those who have the skill and competencies to get the job done. That is a bit more straightforward. It has its own challenges, and you have a number of people you appoint to assist you to deal with various aspects of governance. And you do what you want to get done. Now, I moved then to the national chairman of APC. At that level, the job is totally different. It is basically to receive those who wishes to run a contest election on the platform of your party and scrutinize them, ensure that they have what it takes, that they are qualified within the provisions of the Nigeria Constitution and, of course, of the APC Constitution. And in that process, identify candidates from aspirant to becoming candidate, and then feed them, campaign for them, and prayerfully they win. That seems to be where the job ends. The other job was try to get those you have elected on the platform of your party to now conduct themselves in a manner that is in line with the campaign promises can be challenging. Because the guy has gotten his job, whether on the executive branch or on the legislative branch, and you are like the proverbial sheep. You delivered the young one, he has grown up, and he moves away.
Okay.
So they are quite different jobs. But
Okay.
they all have their challenges. There are moments of frustration.
Yeah.
There are also moments of excitement.
Now,
I've had all of that.
You were credited with a very profound statement as the chairman of the APC, as it then was, that once you join the APC, your sins are forgiven. And that meant that those who probably had corruption cases hanging on their necks, they were welcome to the APC, and when they do that, their sins are forgiven. Is that statement, commending or sort of encouraging corruption as well?
Thank you for raising this question. I just find that the media, both print and electronic, they have the way of servicing a lie over and over and over as to begin to make it look like truth. That falsehood was falsified from a live coverage, which I believe ITV was there, here in Benin, when one gentleman called Ilwobe from, I believe, in Edo Central, I don't remember the exact local government. Ilwobe is a well-known person in that part of the state. He decided to join APC. And the meaning of Ilwobe in our language is I don't do bad. Obey is something offensive, evil. So Ilwobe, I don't do evil. And I said, he has been in PDP all over, over the years. He has never been in APC. And I said, now that you have joined APC, you will live up to your father's name. That is to say, Ugira Robe, you won't see it anymore. This man was not a commissioner. This man has never held government position. Which corruption cases? You shall sin no more. Did not say, cannot in any way be interpreted by a fair-minded person to mean, it means the sins you have committed, that they have been forgiven.
So you never said that.
Those who don't understand the Edo language or Edo dialect might hide under ignorance to carry out that mischief, as I've seen a journalist did recently in one national TV. And I just leave it to his conscience, because what I said is, this man's name is Ilwobe. Ilwobe, you have been with, the way we demonize opposition parties, they demonize us, the government, we demonize them. And I said, then APC was at the federal level. Sorry, PDP was at the federal level. And that was 2015. And I came here with Buhari to campaign, and I said, now that you have joined us, you will live up to your father's name. You shall sin no more. Ilwobe, I don't do bad. So you have been in PDP, and where I used to say, people deceive people, papa deceive Pikin. Now that you have left them to join us, you have to live up to your father's name. What does that got to do with any attempt to suggest that if you have seen before, whatever sin he had committed, if there were any, he was in PDP, not in government.
Okay.
He has never been in government.
So you never said that?
How could I have said that?
Okay, now let's...
At that time, look at the facts on ground.
Okay.
3 governors have been convicted under APC government, and they were in APC. As we speak, some APC governors are in court facing corruption charges. So how can anybody even say that?
Okay, let's leave that for a moment.
But the chief makers, they like to, I saw a journalist, I think it was Rufai of Arise TV, who recycled the lie just 2-3 weeks ago, and I was looking at him.
Okay, let's leave that for a moment.
You service the lie. I need to make it look like true.
I need to respond.
It didn't make sense for anyone to say so.
I need to respond to this. The feelings in some quarters that Comrade has now installed himself as the de facto godfather of Edo State politics. Looking at the transition from being a labor activist, labor leader, becoming an executive governor, national party chairman, and then, of course, in your time as a governor, you were described as the apostle of one man, one vote. But all of that seems to have changed with time. And even up to now that you are being seen as the de facto godfather of Edo State politics, is it just your strategy of preserving your political hegemony, or there are more to it that we need to know? Because some are saying that today, Comrade is on the 3rd-term agenda, with Governor Okpebholo in the saddle as a proceed governor. I don't know what your reactions are to this.
What can I say? The truth is that I have come to accept that observers, commentators, admirers, and even political foes, they are at liberty to throw libels. And if you have to be in this business, you get prepared to be a dustbin. You know, people can lie, they can say anything. But the truth of the matter is, I think many people are full of envy that whereas I am not the first governor of this state, and whereas I will not be and have not been the last governor, because of what God used me to do in this state, Edo people are not about to forget in a hurry, particularly when I was succeeded by a governor that spent Edo money on consultancy, forced transactions, and pocketed Edo money, disempowered Edo people, invite some boys and girls from Lagos, empower them, and he cannot point at those he has built.
Yeah, but you were the one, you were the governor for, and then you also commended him. You said he was his great boss in your administration. I mean, some of the lovely things you did, he orchestrated it, he brought the funny and all of that. In fact, that made it very easy for his second term during the campaign, because most of the things you said were used in those campaigns. Yeah.
I don't should be talking about news now, I know what is stale. I have never denied that I contributed, I did campaign for him. But remember, first be told, I was different from the other governors. I did not unfairly prevent my then deputy governor, Dr. Dubu, who unfortunately didn't find favor with me in terms of succession. And I choose to support Obaseki, right? We had a primaries at the stadium of 4 contestants, whereas some governors did everything to impeach their deputy once they show interest in succeeding them. I just told my deputy, sorry, my views are different, I'm unable to support you. And we went through a transparent primaries. And the margin between Odubu, Dr. Dubu, who was second runner-up, and Obaseki, who won the primary, was narrow. And I negotiated and persuaded Ogie, who was secretary to government, who was my commissioner for works, who wanted to contest. I said, please, let us just keep the political family together. You withdraw and work with Obaseki. After some time, he agreed. And we worked. And you know that fighting that election was tough. So if you say I can pay for one more vote, I did. My joy is that no matter anyone in this state who is familiar with the state of Edo before Oshomole's intervention in Edo politics, you know that Edo effectively became a one-party state under the PDP with very powerful people, not just powerful in Edo politics, powerful in Nigeria politics. And nobody believed that it was possible to take PDP out of power. So I launched one man, one vote to address the crisis of, when people feels, people needed to have confidence that the vote can count. But not if you told me, why are you campaigning? We will vote for you, but you know the vote don't count in Edo. They just write the result. Somebody will simply say, no vacancy, and there will be no vacancy. And I said, we will defeat that, we will dismantle the PDP rigging machine. And we did. I was in opposition in Edo and in Abuja. I fought them. They rigged me out. I went to court. I fought them, and I won. And I lost one vote. As a consequence, in the second term, still in opposition in 2012, I went back to the people, PDP went back to the people, and I won across the 18 local government, and there was no incident of somebody being shot. Whereas before then, there is no election in Edo in which you are not counting dead bodies.
Why did you allow these values to continue?
No.
Values of one vote.
No, it's continuous.
Yes,
now, you are having a problem
because you superimpose your choice of candidate on the
Sonny, you are having a problem, and you are also distorting fact. You are not thorough, and you are not apparently following the trend. If there is one recent political activity that confirm my commitment to the principle of party discipline and one man, one vote, it is the last primaries and the current governor, right? Which you now is described as my third term. I will happily claim it because if something is good, I claim it. In Nigeria, when Nigeria is winning, we say that's Nigeria for you. The day you lose, you look at them as if they are not part of it. In APC primary, we had a number of contestants, right? And you are in this Benin, and That was a fierce contest between Okpebholo, now the governor, and then Mr. Dausa, now the deputy governor, right? And the fact of the matter is that it's also an open secret that I supported Dennis, and he lost. So if I am not a person of one man, one vote, once my candidate lost, I will push the case to court. I will not only do that, I will say I'm not participating in the campaign. But once the issue of primary was settled, APC now have a candidate who won primary or no won primary became irrelevant, and you are also an observer of Edo politics. You know I campaign as if Monday Okpebholo was my own baby boy. I fought the election the way I will fight my own election, and that's who I am. To get that one man, one vote. I didn't take Edo electorate for granted. We fought hard, we negotiated hard, and we campaigned around the 18 local government, campaigned around the 192 ward, and our candidate won. Okay. That is the meaning of one man, one vote. Okay. Now, lastly, when people talk about godfatherism, it's lack of appropriate language, and I excuse those who use the word. And I don't want to go back to history why I use that word in a negative way. You can use it negatively, you can use it positively. Now, what is the fact about the word? When you have had the privilege, as I've had, to preside over a state, in the case of Edo, a subnational government, and you pray to God, if He gives you power, not to deny you wisdom, and He gives you the wisdom to address the critical basic needs of the people, namely roads, water, school, healthcare, education, which in Edo was completely, they were all posting minus in terms of social welfare index. And I came in, God used me to address all of those. As I was coming now, I talk about lower traffic. It is as a result of the additional lane I constructed, because the road to this Oluku was carried away by federal government. I constructed additional side lane to make it 3 lanes so that the buses that are commuting and dropping people here and there don't need to be on the main lane. And that today, if you drive on that road, people will remember, before Oshomhole's government, all of these cars now, they will be struggling to be here. So when I talk, people listen. So influence peddling is what is the right word. That because of what I have done, when I tell people, I believe this person will do this, and of course you have to understand when you say I brought Obaseki, I am someone who never denied my past. Okay. You can't run away from your political shadow. I knelt down publicly before any case. And I say, I apologize, I brought this guy because he worked with me. It's like a driver who had a motorboy who appeared to have learned the act of driving. You have driven through all sorts of terrains. He seems to know the way because he has been with you for 8 years. And I say, I think I can leave Edo. Edo will be better off with this man on the driver's seat. It turned out to be otherwise. I am just human. What some human beings can't do is to be so arrogant that even when they clearly have failed in their judgment, they refuse to admit it. Okay. I admit to my poor judgment that Obaseki was a mistake. But he was able to play up ethnic falsehood, all sorts of
if you were a mistake, how did
and in the process, he got the second term.
How did he win second term?
That shows you.
Like you, 18 over 18.
Listen, now, he did go 18 over 18. Okay. He won. But that should again reaffirm my commitment to one man, one vote. In spite of the fact that I had campaigned against him, he won the election. So if I have the power to rig, or I am the believer in rigging, how can Obaseki defeat my party? But he did. And we live with that reality for under 4 years.
Okay.
The good news for us is that in those 4 years, he destroyed the party that gave him an umbrella when he was under the rain, because it is a character issue. And so even the PDP that embraced him, because they were desperate to regain governance, just find that they bought a very, very dangerous explosive. It exploded with the PDP, divided the PDP to 2 from one PDP to legacy PDP and pro-Obaseki APC. And that provided the basis for us to be able to overrun him in the last election.
Okay,
but despite that,
yeah,
I can be in a party, Kapi and my party were defeated, shows that one man, one vote.
Before we take our
and I'm a believer in that.
Before we
Nigerian democracy
before we
cannot
take our
prosper
first break,
if the electorate are not in charge
before
of
we take our
government.
first break, the present government under the APC, led by His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo, is celebrating 100 days in office. There's a feeling that it's all about movement without motion. What are your concerns about the present administration under Governor Okpebholo? Because like you alluded to, he wasn't your first choice. I'm sure there were reasons why you didn't make him your first choice, pre-primaries.
No. It is because that in a democracy, even in your household, among your children, if they are to vote which suit you should wear, and you have more than 2 or 3, they might vote that you shouldn't wear this one today. It's just about preference, right? But the discipline in a democratic party is that when majority have made a decision, in this case, in favor of Governor Monday, he becomes the candidate of the party and no more. And every reasonable Democrat should submit himself to the authority of the party. And that's what we did. Now, as for your summary about his performance, maybe you are in Oluku, you are not, you are too busy managing news that you don't really know what is going on. I think in 100 days, this governor has changed the narratives in every material particular.
By inaugurating legacy projects of the administration?
Listen, you talk about project first. Let me tell you, and now I speak as a former governor. And I also speak as a man who was chairman of a governing party who overlook and oversee and observe the conduct and misconduct of some governors. Now, Governor Monday has done a couple of things that are profound. We had a governor who, that is Obaseki, for example, who in his days, just before he left office, the National Judicial Council screened judges as they have always done all over the country, including when I was here. My affirmation of signature is just a formality. Once the National Judicial Council is satisfied that someone is qualified to be a judge, the Chief Justice of the Federation, or the chairman of that council, will write to the governor and say, here are the nominees from your state for to be appointed as judges. The normal thing you do is you appoint them. They are not political appointment. The judiciary is an autonomous arm of government. Governor Obaseki is on record as refusing to obey the rules of the game, the norms of the game, the custom and tradition. He declined accent. And there was nothing the judiciary could do. But Governor Monday came in and swore in those people. On education, for many years, you had students in Edo University, Abrusali University, who spent 12 years pursuing a 6-year, for example, a 6-year medical program. Those who were reading medicine. They finished, they couldn't get accreditation because of some of the confusions around APC. And Obaseki was running a university with quote and unquote special powers, emergency powers. He couldn't run the university according to the laws of the university. Governor Monday in 100 days restored rule of law in Abrusali University. And happily for those poor students who have been stranded for 12 years, the doctor has now been done. So it's not everything is about brick and mortar. Number 3, a lot of the bad roads, because I came back to campaign here, and we saw that a lot of the jobs that Obaseki was doing, before he do 5 kilometers of road, the first 2 kilometers have failed. Governor Monday has started in 100 days to fix those roads. These are visible things. When you say movement without motion, how do you mean? That he has not appointed those judges, that he has not solved a university problem. Obaseki reduced their subvention from 252 million that I was giving them in a month when I was governor. He reduced it to 41 million by the time he left office for Abrusali University, which is why for many years, neither teaching nor learning was going on, and the place was virtually shut down. Now, Governor Monday has increased their subvention to a whopping 500 million a month to restore integrity to academic calendar and reposition the university for teaching and learning for the future of our state.
Okay.
Now, we can go, now he has also started and he has already appointed some teachers as he promised. Because you can't have beautiful schools. If there are no teachers, nobody is learning. The future of our state is doomed. We are a minority state. For an Edo State person, in Nigeria geopolitics, Edo is a minority. For us to get to the top, anywhere we found ourselves, as we have always done, you have to be far better than the others. And the way to be ahead of them is to have quality, sound education. So Monday has laid the right emphasis in basic education by starting the recruitment of competent teachers. He's also doing competent recruitment, and he has recruited competent teachers in secondary schools. All of those things are basically faced to do. And just yesterday, they launched something, an app that will enable parents and guardians, whether within Nigeria or outside Nigeria, to have the code of their ward and punch it and see when they sit for exam whether they did well or not. It's no longer for the teacher or the student to hide result from their sponsors in whether they are in America, they are in Asia, they are in Europe. I think Monday has done extremely well.
We'll take a short break.
In 100 days.
We'll take a short break and then we'll engage that last part that you just talked about. If you just join us, you're still on to TMI on the ITV network. Our guest today is the former governor of Edo State, the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Adams Aliyu Oshomhole. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll be looking at the revenue profile of Edo State vis-a-vis expenditure and all of that. Stay with us in a moment. Thanks again for rejoining us on this special interview series with our guest in the studio, the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, His Excellency Comrade Adams Aliyu Oshomhole. Many thanks again for joining us on this program.
Thank you, Sonny.
Okay. We know that for government to impact the people and meet up with its obligations to the people, there has to be funds, revenue. What do you make of these concerns that since this present administration came on board, revenue has dropped to its lowest level, perhaps even lower than when you were there? I mean, you also made effort to raise the revenue profile to the highest level at that time. Against the background, the concern is even more about the fact that we are seeing non-state actors being given responsibility of revenue drive, which of course lends some credence to the concerns that maybe the APC is in a Siamese relationship with thuggery, because some known thugs are now back in the saddle since they came on board, even with revenue contracts and all of that. I don't know what you make of these, and what is the policy thrust of the present administration of the APC under Governor Monday okpebholo?
Okay, first, when you make statement, the burden of proof is on you. I thought you would say, by the time Obaseki left office, this was the level of revenue per month or per annum.
No, the only is on you to explain that.
And
yes,
and that other Monday it has dropped. Now, from what to what?
The burden is on you.
No.
It's on you.
You are the one speculating.
To justify the fact that
I can't justify falsehood.
No, just a moment. Just a moment. The burden is on you to tell other people what the current government is doing with revenue, because
Sonny,
the revenue profile has dropped to 2.5 billion monthly, and it used to be 8 billion naira monthly.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Okay, so go ahead now.
Fine. I am not in charge of revenue collection. I am not running Edo State government. I am from Edo State. The governor is from my party, right? I have not heard your complaint. I have not heard people saying revenue dropped. And I think if you have to be objective, in 100 days, you can't establish a thread. Yes, a hostile takeover because the former governor refused to hand over. And unlike the former governor, this governor has returned, even in that aspect, to the rule of law. It's a fact that you cannot contradict that by the time Obaseki left government, most of his second term, the revenue service was a one-man board, because it was under me that we crafted the law to set up Edo State Inland Revenue Service. It has a board composed of a chairman, executive chairman, and a number of executive directors and other staff. Now, Obaseki dissolved the board and he was running it himself. There's only one chairman, there was no executive board. So now Monday has constituted that board. I think about a month or a month and a half ago, he couldn't have constituted the board before he assumed office. And a new board must take time to study the environment and formulate policies. And remember, we campaign against extortion. So revenue has dropped or not, I don't think you have the facts. You have engaged in speculation. What I heard.
So is it speculation that?
Yeah, it's your own speculation.
We have. Is it speculation that we have?
Let me finish.
Known thugs now.
No. There are two legs of your question. The first is that you allege that revenue has dropped.
Is there in the public space?
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
But remember, I am not an employee of Edo State government. I am like any other citizen of Edo State, but I am proud that my party has produced a governor that is already doing better than the immediate past PDP governor. That I'm very happy about. I don't have any illusion that in the 3 months he will correct all the ills of the former of Obaseki's government. Now, with regards to what you call employed thugs, I think you should respect the dignity of Edo citizens. The responsibility of government. When I speak, for example, in Abuja, and if you watch us in the Senate, some senators will say, they represent the good and the bad people of their state. I will say, I represent the good people of Edo North. My responsibility, and it is more so for the executive, the responsibility of an executive is to make every citizen to have access, opportunity to grow and to prosper. And it is the responsibility of citizens to convert area boys, thugs, to workers. And you don't celebrate and you do not use abusive words, or that might not be appropriate word to use. You don't describe your citizen in terms that are inelegant. Now, who is a thug? Elections are over. Thuggery is gone.
But we saw now those activities which necessitated the movement of the election tribunal from Benito to Abuja.
Remember, I was during the campaign, I was saying, and I was speaking from my experience, that Edo hasn't done well under a double-breasted governor who was involved in double-breasted consultancy. When you give a job to a man who wear 3-piece, who wear tie, who dressed babariga, he's not a thug. When you give a job, that is to collect taxes. Now, if you give a job to someone who dressed just like me, then it's a thug. What makes somebody thug? Are they carry cutlass?
But they have.
Wait. Do you have any record of any of these people who have beaten up or killed someone?
They have antecedents, and these people are known to the people of the state.
Who does not have
the people of the state knows these people better than you do.
Who does not have antecedent? You have antecedent. I have antecedent.
Yes.
Right? And the responsibility of government, I insist, and you need to listen to this. The responsibility of government is to help the citizens to prosper, is to win them away. Those who are evil criminals, is to win them away from crime. As governor, I granted pardon to Edo and a non-Edo citizen who was jailed for a crime. And once I was convinced that he has learned his lesson, I exercised the power of the prerogative of mercy to grant him pardon. That young man today, or one of them, is married, is working in the civil service with children, and is conducting himself with honor and dignity. So you don't celebrate. Now, it is an environment that produces thuggery. Now, if a governor chooses to win people away from thuggery and give them a decent platform to earn a living and remit revenue to government, for you, because the man is not wearing double-dressed suit, he's a thug.
Is this winning away from thuggery or political patronage?
Those consultants, Sonny, those consultants that the former governor brought, right, with one fire, and they collect 10 naira, they take away 6 naira in the name of consultancy. Don't forget, we make a big issue about consultancy, but This government doesn't need consultancy, and it can draw from my experience. I don't need environmental impact analysis to know that if I expanded the road to Luku from Rig Road, right, and create a drainage and deseed the drainage and create a drainage to protect the traditional ground, that everybody will benefit, that the what Edo people used to call Tom River will disappear. In doing five junction and doing that runabout, I didn't have to hire consultants to pay them billions of naira to advise me that we need to do something.
But perhaps that's why today
listen,
your stormwater project of over 40 billion naira or 30 billion naira, I don't know what the exact figure, you were in the saddle in a better position to tell Edo people what the figure was. Has it really meet up to that expectations of deflooding the state or the city?
I thought that ITV being not just a television but a grassroots television, you know, you are not just a cable television that is viewed by people who can afford the
subscription. Yes,
right. Okay. Now, I secured 94% of the total broadcast in a local government in my second term. Why? Because the first phase of the Benin City Water Storm Program, the first phase that we tackled, affected the people of Igor. Sonny, you can't deny, because I know you have driven on the road to Teacher's House before I became governor and after. You know that you couldn't cross that Teacher's House. Even to come to this studio, if it's raining, you know you couldn't pass through that Tom Line area. There was what they now call Tom Line River. So people get drawn there. Water gets into your vehicle. We deseated all of that. We created drainage. I will make sure that we channel all the water to Oba River. Now, unfortunately, the next governor, Governor Baseki, didn't believe in that project. And now he allowed some of the area to be seated up. And if you don't deseal it is like you never constructed the project. Now, I think Monday has already started deseating. And that is the common sense thing to do. Even the clothes you and I wear, we wash them, we maintain them. So if you construct a drainage, you have to maintain it. You have to deseat it from time to time. I deseated some of the moat around the 5 junction to be able to achieve the order that we have there now, and to create that, from that confusion to have that well-ordered runabout. Okay. So you can't remove them away because they were well built. Okay. They were well built. So let's pass through Airport Road. Yeah. Beneath that Airport Road, there's a huge drainage. You can walk under it. And from that drainage that we channel the water that used to take over the late Isoba of Benin's residence.
When you say the former governor refused to continue the first phase, were there funds? You said the former governor refused to continue with the stormwater project during his time. Were there funds?
Not even to maintain the one already done.
Okay, let's talk about.
There were funds because it's about what you do with the funds. You just told me now that revenue he made up to 8 billion, it has dropped. What was it they doing with it?
Okay, so let's really talk about the status of local government. I mean, the governance at that level. We saw your party under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, challenging that issue up to the Supreme Court, and there was a Supreme Court judgment. About a few weeks later, with the incoming of the present government, we have seen what has happened in Edo State, which completely negates the Supreme Court judgment. We have seen, thugs taking over councils and all of that. What are your thoughts along those lines?
But that's not correct. You see, so Sonny, you need to sustain the tradition of ITV, which is to speak the truth. They say, facts are sacred, opinion is free. Go beyond opinion and speak to facts.
That's why we have you here, so you respond to the issues. Yeah. It's not about ITV. That's why we have you here. So we ask you a question so that you can respond.
When you say something happened that didn't happen, then it has to do with you, not me.
Okay.
Because I'm to answer a valid question and a valid observation. When you claim that something has happened and that thing hasn't happened.
So what hasn't happened?
Yeah, we just turn out.
You tell me what hasn't happened.
Okay. Now let me explain to you.
Yes.
First, to start with, unfortunately, the PDP have a history of not conducting election. They wrote results for 18 gentlemen and another result for another 18 gentlemen and chairmen and vice chairmen, and another result for councillors.
You also did that when you were in the saddle.
No.
You can't
allow me to answer your question.
I just want to remind you that. Okay, go ahead.
Do I lose now?
No, just go ahead.
You really think you need to remind me of what I did?
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
My name is Adams Oshomhole. If I have not forgotten that,
okay,
name I was given at birth, you think I will forget what I did when I became adult?
No, just go ahead.
Okay, listen. Now, what has Monday done? The Supreme Court, I'm happy you acknowledge that, and that is the kind of thing you should be doing. You acknowledge that the President of Nigeria believes that the local government should enjoy autonomy. Autonomy does not mean they should enjoy fraud unchecked. Autonomy does not mean that they are not above the law. It means that the local government should govern according to law, and governors should abstain from collecting, managing, or mismanaging the revenue accruing to local government. This is what autonomy is about. It's not a license to loot. It's not a license to steal. It's not a license to make illegal deduction by some other persons. Now, in the case of Edo, as a citizen, I try to follow what goes on in my state, even though I am not the governor. Like you are not a government, but you are following event. The Constitution says that councillors have the power, if they come to the conclusion that the chairman has misbehaved or committed an offense, they have the power to impeach and sack the chairman. These councillors were PDP councillors. Once it was revealed to their shock that they were raising as much as 800 million every month, that the local government councils in Edo State, their chairmen were raising 800 million every month and transferring this money illegally to individuals for whatever unlawful purposes other than the purpose of governing their localities. Once this came to the fore, and there were documentary evidence to back it up, and these cases are being investigated as we speak by EFCC, ordered the law, the councillors, not the governor, the councillor decided to invite their chairman to account for those monies. And one after the other, they had reasons to impeach them. And they have impeached all of them. Who are these councillors? PDP. Who are the chairmen they impeach? PDP. Who are the vice chairmen they impeach? PDP. That is lawful. The Constitution says the councillor, not the governor, that can sack. Whereas in the past, a governor will sack. When I was here, I removed a local government chairman. He went to court, and the court said that they have the power to do it. That's fine. We corrected it. Now, Obaseki sacked a number of local government chairmen, including the one for my local government, Isako West. He also sacked the one for Isako East for very, very trivial, for reporting fraud to the governor. The governor got angry and sacked these guys. And the court returned them. It doesn't have those powers. So, if you talk about the history of abuse of governor's powers, it's not something that you can't.
Okay.
So, this governor, fact declared, has obeyed the Supreme Court.
The governor wrote the letter indicting the council chairman to the State House of Assembly, who now made the pronouncement suspending these chairmen. Not that the councillors took that decision.
Now you have not progressed from that.
Yes. So you see where the challenge is. Let me leave that. Let me just take it,
because we need to proceed to conclusion.
Let me take this reaction because we don't have so much time.
Wait. Let me just get the reaction. I need to make this point. Wait.
Okay, make
you can't throw something and you don't allow me to reply.
Make the point.
If you told me you are going to do one way, I will come.
No, make the point.
Now, yes, there were allegations about State House of Assembly suspending, and I think the Attorney General of the Federation said no governor can now, or even State House of Assembly can just suspend people. But councillors can do so under the Nigeria Constitution. And the councillors have done so. It is what the councillors has done that is legal, and they have the right so to do.
Okay.
And you cannot ask councillors where were they disappointed that chairmen were raising a whopping 800 million from the 18 local government to go and give to sources
where's a comrade?
So councillors have lived to, they now realize they have the powers. Just like House of Assembly can sack a governor.
All right. Now for viewers,
they have sacked their chairman.
Our studio number is 080-7777-0300. You can send a message to that number. We can relate it with our guest here. We've got our first question. It says, please ask Oshomhole the status of Edo University, Iyamo, in terms of ownership, governing council, current management of the school.
Okay. I tag the questioner. But always I need to constantly remind everyone, I am not here as the governor of Edo State. I am here as an Edo citizen and someone who has had the rare privilege to preside over the affairs of the state. And I'm ever grateful for that. We set up Edo University because, like I said earlier, education is the only tool with which a minority group can compete. I think Edo University is doing well. As I understand right now, they have challenges, management challenges. There are allegations about, doing the sort of thing that some universities used to do, employ more non-academic staff and throwing students to crowded residencies or halls and so on. I believe this governor, order 3 months, can't fix all the problems. The important thing is that I believe the governor is aware and those issues are being addressed and they will be addressed and ensure that the university return to its primary purpose. Now, the good news, why we must defend and ensure that the vision of the university is not debased or displaced, is that whereas civil students in other universities, let me not be too specific, even federal government universities, who were reading medicine, those who went to read medicine in 6 years, they have graduated, they did their induction, they've done their NYC, they are now full doctors. Some are employed by Edo State government, product of Edo University. Their counterparts from other universities, including government-owned universities, federal government-owned universities across the country, they are still in 500 level because they are able to run the university without strikes. When I was here, I told as the visitor of the university at that time, I told the management to attract the best brain, you must pay the lecturers 25% more in their salaries than federal government universities. Because I believe that the reward system must be competitive. You are going to attract and retain brains, you must pay competitive wage. I don't forget, I'm a labor man, you so introduced me, and I thank you for that. So I can't forget my background, that appropriate compensation, what we call decent pay, decent job, require decent salaries. And so the university was doing very well. And if you also look at the first graduate from the law school, their counterpart in other universities, even within Edo and the federal level, they are still in the university. Those who went to Edo University the same year, they have finished, they went to law school, all of them passed, and they have been doctored.
Okay, let me just quickly, because we're
so this university, we need some, we need to revisit.
So it's an Edo State, it's an Edo State University, not Oshomhole University.
Ownership.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, people...
God, they said it's Oshomhole University.
It's okay. Now, when you show passion, there are people who will tell you, this is government business, don't do it. Why are you doing it as if it's your father's house? Everything I did in Edo State, under God watch, I did it as if it's my father's job. That's why the airport road, those roads I did, you don't find any pothole. I did them as if it's my father's road. Right? So when you show that kind of passion, now you go to Edo University, you see a football pitch that is as good as Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, the football pitch. And you say, for Oshomhole to do this must have interest. Now, what dismiss this disinformation? The best evidence that this is just one of those things people do when they are determined where they should clap for you, they are determined to throw mud. When I left government, Obaseki changed the name to Edo State University. He even deleted the name of the village where the university is located. So if it is my own university, will government have the power to change the name? Does government have the power, for example, to change the name of Igbenedion University. They don't have the power. They have every power on earth. They don't have the power to change the name of a private
institution.
Okay. So that Edo State University is 100% owned by the government and the people of Edo State.
Okay, now let's quickly make some progress because we are pressed for time. I'm going to ask a double-barrel question, and I know you have the capacity to deal with that.
Single barrel is enough.
We've seen the governor suspending 2 members of the State Executive Council, the Attorney General and the Chairman of the Civil Service, Local Government or Civil Service Commission, as it were, which, bordering on corruption charges, which some say is more or less like an indictment on the government because it's barely, few months old. And then you were also credited to have made a statement about the mining of minerals in the country. This talking about at the national level now, indicting or accusing generals of being responsible, and the fact that it appears that there are 2 laws operational in Nigeria, one in the north and another in the south. Can you just, in 2 minutes, give us some insight into
Okay, some correction. The chairman of Local Government Service Commission is not a member of the State Executive Council. He's not a commissioner.
Yes.
He is like the chairman of the State Civil Service Commission.
Yeah.
He has no business managing or getting involved in the politics of elected local government. His business is limited to hiring, training, retraining, deployment, promotion of local government. And so he has no right to be involved in the politics of who is a chairman or go to court and so on. So, and I think that the government has clearly issued a statement that they were going to investigate. It means at this point, that is the suspicion, that is the allegation. And because the governor is fair-minded, he says, although he has received this allegation, he considered them weighty. I am going to investigate. Because under the Nigerian law, to allege does not amount to conviction until it is proven. The person must be presumed to be innocent. So, and I understand, and the governor said to everyone, he's setting up a committee to investigate the allegation. I think that should be exciting to Edo people, that you have a governor who will not cover up anything. That is in the interest of the taxpayers. If you think that the governor should have just kept quiet and allowed it to go like that, well, that might be putting personal interest over and above public interest. The challenge of governance and of transparency is that the governor who has the power to hire must have the guts to fire. Right? In exercising these powers, he must be fair and just. He must act on the basis of evidence. Now, where there is no evidence, the right thing for the governor to do is to investigate. Okay. I think we should await the outcome of that investigation. Okay. I know the 2 gentlemen. In particular, I know the Attorney General, someone that I'm sure most Edo people know. Very articulate guy, sound lawyer, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so let's quickly talk about
let's see what
comes out of the investigation.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, then give us your insights on the
solid minerals.
Yes, solid minerals. Yeah.
But I spoke to the fact that a retired general drew my attention, and I encouraged him to put in black and white what he told me, and that I took it to the then president when I was national chairman. I spoke to facts. I like facts. Opinion can be free, but facts are sacred. And I also went on to say that some, not all, some retire, it had to be emphasized. Some. Just like when people talk of politicians, they say politicians, it's not correct. You don't do sweeping generalization. Some powerful people, some retired generals. There are also people who were never in the armed forces, but well connected, who are also involved in illegal mining across the country. I say so, and it is a fact. It is a fact. And I also believe that solid mineral is a huge source of raising more money to drive development of the country. And I said, I think the government should do, I believe the government should be encouraged to use the same instrument, the same force with which we deal with illegal buckling, oil buckling. We should deploy the same force to deal with illegal mining of solid minerals.
Okay, let's
People are cutting away gold from our soil.
Yeah.
And the money goes to private pocket. That for me is unacceptable. The government should be as ruthless to illegal gold miners, lithium miners, all of the illegal solid mining that is going on. We shouldn't just focus on oil. I think that is the irreducible minimum of every government to do. My purpose, my role as a senator, is to, when I see what happened in my constituency, and you see what happened in your constituency, and we congregate on the chambers of the Senate, is to raise issues so that the president, who may not be aware, will become aware.
Okay, let's take this question.
That is my responsibility.
Good morning, Mr. Adams Oshomhole. Doesn't impeachment of chairman have procedure and duration? This is from Amos Obo from Lucky Way.
Everything has a procedure. Even my appearance in the studio, it has a procedure. You order me where to sit. You gave me. I'm a former governor. I'm a current senator. You have not been a governor. You ordered that I should sit here, not there, and I obey. That is your procedure. So yes, Mr. Obo, everything and anything in government, because government is a public trust. It's not like a private company. But even in a private company, you are accountable to your shareholders. So there has to be corporate governance in a transparent manner. There are procedures for impeaching a council chairman and vice chairman, and it has to be done by the councillors following certain procedures.
Okay,
that is correct.
Our studio number is 080-7777-0300. You can send your SMSs to that particular number. Comrade,
and I believe the councillors follow the procedure.
Okay, you've been very vocal at the National Assembly. I mean, we didn't expect anything less than that from you at the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly. I heard a young man, one Moyole Showari, saying that you were never really part of the Nadeko movement, the entrenched democracy today. This, resurgence of your activism, which you've always been known for, but seems to have been waned for some time. Is this in any way connected to 2027?
No, Showari is my friend. That is the Sahara Reporters publisher. Right? I think we only fell apart when he abandoned journalism and went into politics, and he got severely beaten. He was defeated. And so he's not exactly a happy person with me, but he has to overcome his defeat. He must understand that is the way politics work. It's not a writing editorial. And even in editorial, but you ought to have a conversation with your co-editors. But if you choose to do a one-man editorial, you can. But in politics, you have to, again, no matter what you think of yourself, the ordinary people will have to decide who they prefer. And it's not up to you to question the judgment of the majority. Now, I have never claimed I was in Nadeko. No. How can I say that? And do you have to be in Nadeko to fight for democracy? Okay, Nadeko people, some fought abroad. I was a labor activist. And I remain even now a labor activist. And as a labor activist, we fought for the release of MKO Abiola, who we believe won the election. I even had a fight with my then president when I was deputy president, that we should go on national strike to force Abacha's hand to restore Abiola and give him his mandate. And I was detained at Awolowo Way in an underground cell under Colonel Omeka, a notorious military officer who has run away now, who was running a very deadly, dehumanizing facility where he keeps people who he considers as enemies of the government. You don't have to be. Of course, I guess if you play back your own, you probably have occasions to question military people, military governors. We have military governors here who were misbehaving. We have military governors here who were stealing. And I'm sure sometimes you invited people to talk, some civil society people in Edo here, against some of those people. I came here to fight with one naval officer who refused to pay minimum wage. We organized strike against him. So you don't have to be in Nadeko. I never claimed to be one. No, that is not the only route. They had their part. I wasn't part of those who were elected and overthrown, but I was determined that even to flourish as a labor man, Nigeria Labour Congress was prescribed by military dictators. And that is why our commitment to democracy is not conditional. And the beauty of it is that if you elect someone you are not happy, tomorrow you can refuse to elect him. You know, you are beaten, you are not allowed to cry. Each time I watch, like the questions you are asking now,
yes,
right? And I watch other cable news, you ask very, very penetrating questions that are not flattery of the government of the day. That is democracy for you. It goes beyond voting to holding those elected to account. And that for me is so beautiful.
Okay.
That you can tell the governor, what the hell do you think you are doing? You promised this, you are doing this. That is democracy. Other military, they beat you if you cry, they lock you up. And I was locked up several times, not over my father's land, for insisting that the right to organize be upheld. And the NSC, for which I was deputy president, was dissolved. We came to Benin here to conduct a convention, and the then military president told the military governor not to allow the convention to take place at Ubemundia Stadium. So, Chore is
as you gradually wind up, quickly share with us, what has been your major impact in your constituency as a senator? And then what are your projections for the present government in Edo State, against the background that there were questions about the capacity to engage like you're doing right now, and that seems to be a recurring decimal as far as this administration is concerned. Are you bothered about this?
Now you spoke to the fact that I've been very outspoken in the National Assembly. That is what Senate is about. When you watch U.S. Congress, you see senators engaging on issues. When the president wants to appoint certain categories of persons, ministers or secretaries of state, secretaries of defense or whatever, you see the senators grilling them. So that we've done in the National Assembly. You just reminded me of what I said about solid minerals. I also said something about power distribution. I said something about education, how the children of the poor have been abandoned to their fate, which has led some of them into banditry. I spoke to economic policy options, and I have spoken on anything that, in my view, is not appropriate, and I never fell short of suggesting what I thought we should do differently. That is what the Senate is about. And in any case, I don't like to say it, but it's a fact that a major independent critical media outfit, electronic and print, this day, and Arise Television, found me as the Senator of the Year and awarded me, gave me an award to that effect. I think that shows that.
Congratulations. Let's take some more questions from our viewers. This one says, please, how will Edo State Governor bring down the cost of food items? You just take that, hold on to that. Let's look at the next question. Please, Mr. Sonny, do ask him if Oredo councillors impeach their chairman and other local government. How many councillors impeach their chairman? One or two councillors don't have the right to impeach their chairman. This is George from Oredo. Then, good morning, Your Excellency. I believe you want the best for Edo. How come Edo State, that was ranked first to start implementing the minimum wage of 70,000 naira in Nigeria, is now being dragged back as labor unions in Edo State are now pushing for what the previous administration started? Secondly, why is Edo State now the least state in terms of budgetary allocation to education?
Well, I think you need to keep reminding them that I am not the governor. It bears repeating over and over. I'm not the governor. Number two, impeachment of councillors. Now, if anybody think that the councillor did the matter properly, they know what to do. But councillors have a right. I think that those asking questions would have asked themselves, is it true that these dismissed or impeached council chairmen, is it true that they were illegally deducting a whopping 800 million every 30 days from their allocation to give to individuals? Is it true that that much money was being stolen from the coffers of the local government, organized by Algon, which is unknown to the Nigeria Constitution? So if people are just talking about people are impeached, you are not even worried about these weighty allegations. In the Nigeria of today, somebody collects 800 million every month out of the coffers of the 18 local government. That money can do a lot to fight poverty. Somebody is talking about cost of living. Cost of living can be reduced, or if you can reduce prices, you can increase income. So if you redistribute 800 million every month to Edo citizens, life will be a lot better.
Okay,
and money will circulate.
Okay, let's take a look at this question. It says, greetings to you, my comrade, Senator Adams Oshomhole. Honestly, you were God sent to Edo State. Please, can you advise the governor to distribute electricity to Edo people via our local power generation stations? Thanks. This is from Momo. And then the next one, ask Adams Oshomhole if one councillor, okay, we've asked that before. Please ask Senator Adams, what is the requirement of councillors? Okay, we responded to those questions. I mean, if you've been watching, certainly you will know exactly. So we're talking about power from the local source that we have to be distributed to Edo people.
Again, I'm happy to say that when I was here, we did the flag off of Azura Power Plant. And on the floor of the Senate, because I need to remind our brothers and sisters that now I am a senator, I have responsibility to ensure that the federal executive addresses issues that fall within the purview of the federal executive, not the state government. Okay? And that is why I've said to the government at Abuja, and we reached, that motion was carried that day, that the federal government need to revoke the privatization exercise that was done in 2014 under President Goodluck Jonathan, because they gave the discourse to people who never have who don't have the skill, they don't have the know-how, and under the law, they have absolute monopoly. And I said, I can't accept that a community or an individual or a family raise money to buy a transformer because the transformer has failed, the distribution company has refused to provide one, you are in the dark, you borrow or you raise money to buy it, or the government buys it, you pay the distribution company to come and install it, and at the end of the month, the same distribution company gives you a huge bill without providing for the money you spent to buy the transformer, and the transformer is now the property of the distribution companies. And that we, as senators, must pass a law to revoke and to ensure that never again should Nigeria be compelled to pay bill on the basis of estimate without proof that you actually consume what you are being asked to pay for. That is my role. Now, as for this issue of impeachment, I think what I'm concerned about as an Edo citizen is that the autonomy of local government should not be misconstrued to mean that they can steal the money every month and do whatever they like with it. They are still under the law. You know, I am surprised that people talk just about why they impeach the procedure, whether one man can sack, two man can sack.
Okay.
Whether it's one man or two man is not for me to answer.
Okay.
I am not a law officer of the federation, nor a law officer of the state. But even if I were, when local government impeach you, like when even the Edo State House of Assembly impeached a deputy governor, I think for the first time in Edo history, the man went to court.
A challenge.
Isn't it? Fine. So, even House of Assembly can err.
Okay.
Let me quickly we should talk more about how within a month or a few months, you know, under the watch of this governor, people were trying and they were looting as much as 800 million directly every month. No, that is not good for the economy of the state.
Okay.
This is not
is this based on evidence of facts? Because you
it's about facts.
Based on facts.
Oh yes. There's a letter written by this I have seen because I care.
Let's really talk about what's happening at the national.
None of them have denied it.
Let's talk about what's happening at the national level with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His emergence and subsequent takeover of governance has brought untold hardship on Nigerians. Cost of living, rooftop, inflation very high, and all of these indices of development seems to be at its lowest ebb. Is there any Philip in sight by way of a reprieve for Edo people, for Nigerians on a general scale?
I think the responsibility of the president to Nigeria, including Edo, and some of the question that one of the questions I asked cost of living, it is not the state government that will deal with the macroeconomic policies, monetary policies, fiscal policies, industrial policies, and all of those related issues that one way or the other can impact on cost of living or the level of inflation. But I think the good news is that the recent report from Bureau of Statistics says that the projected revenue for 2024 vis-a-vis 2025 has dropped to 24%, down from about 32%. The target should be to bring it down to single digit. Prices will never be 100% stable, but the rate of change of price should not be such that it's going higher than the rate of increase in people's income, so that you can experience a level of stability in your lifestyle and even improvement in the quality of life. So the federal government has still a lot to do, to bring down inflation, to achieve price stability. Number two, we've seen the Naira, devalued, but it's coming down. At a point, it hit 200 Naira to the dollar. I think as of last week, it came down to 1,500 and something. I will still expect that to come down more and more, because the exchange rate is important. They try to understand the drivers of the key element that explain the inflationary pressure that we are in. There's no question. I think Bola is doing well. When a patient has a cancer that's aggressive, and it is now your lot to take over the management of that patient, Nigeria was virtually dying. President Buhari's government and the one before it took some decisions that were very unhelpful. We have to admit to this. When they printed back notes, which government called ways and means, right? That means more money was being printed and spent that was not benchmarked against any economic fundamentals. And that meant more money in circulation, chasing few goals. Now, the process of cleaning up this mess took a time. Okay. Now, I think I can say to Edo people that I believe the worst is over. And that what the president has chosen to do is to carry out what seems to be, of what obviously is a painful surgery. But if that surgery was not conducted, the patient would have died of a complicated disease. Okay. Now, the process of healing might not be as fast as the patient wants, but if the medication is consistently applied and done objectively, over time the patient will be back on his feet. Okay. Nigeria will experience prosperity under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right.
The worst mistake you can make in leadership is to see a challenge and you are afraid of how the people will react to that challenge, and therefore you refuse to do something, and the thing deteriorates even further. Now, governance is not about blame game. We can trace the history of a problem, but that is not the reason you will not fix it.
Okay.
So I think Bola Tinubu must be created with,
I think
as a guy who has courage to take uncommon decisions, to deal with a serious crisis.
I think time will tell how all of this will pan out.
Absolutely.
As we conclude now, ITV will be celebrating 28. What's, on a personal level, based on your interaction engagement, what is your assessment of ITV and radio?
No, to be honest, ITV is one of the first private television stations in Nigeria. When I was growing up, I didn't know that a private person can set up and sustain a television station. And with all the challenges in the environment, including lack of constant power supply, and the television station is doing 24-hour service, and you are now viewed beyond Nigeria and across the world. That is a statement of what is possible when there is deep conviction and you are determined not to make excuses and to convert challenges to opportunities. That's what I believe ITV has done. I think when you compare ITV to government-owned stations, EBS and NTA, and these are stations that are funded by government, and then you say, how is ITV generating its income? It tells a story about competence, about management, about, if you attract adverts, it's because people believe you are being viewed. And in the last, this year budget, incidentally, I spoke to this. I said, government-owned stations should learn from private-owned television stations in terms of the content of what they broadcast, the issues that they raise, the issues that they discuss. Because Nigerians want to know the truth. And the media must be seen to be able to hold the government to account for its actions. Because nobody is too good not to be interrogated about the choices you make. And it is the sum total of those choices that give direction as to where the government is going. I have also argued there is no policy that is value neutral. Every policy produces winners and losers. So the one you opt for is a reflection of your own personal values. And I can be very critical of the media, as I've argued with you, if I see them throwing some more that is, I believe I don't deserve. But I also have the skill to try and throw those more that way because they don't belong to me if they are misdirected. Now, there was a point you made about Monday engagement. I think Monday engagement, that is the governor. Sorry, I can call, we are enforcing him terms, my friend. I believe that it's not all about grammar.
But is he a challenge? Is that a challenge for the government?
For example, you just told me now that he has taken action to suspend some people. He didn't need to do grammar. He was convinced that something was wrong. Okay, while it is wrong because it has to do with public fund, that is the allegation. I'm putting you on suspension. That is courage. Number two, he's already doing some things that, I talk about started reconstructing schools, fixing roads that are bad, cleaning up the drainages because rain will soon come again, and revisiting the education and increasing subvention to government-owned universities, and resolving the issue of students who are stranded for no fault of theirs. They've done their best, and for 12 years they were there as doctors stranded. He has solved all these problems in 30 days.
Okay.
I believe, let me make a confession. In 30 days, I was struggling to form a cabinet. That is I, Adam Oshomhole, in 2000, on November 12th, 2008, I was sworn in. I couldn't put in place a cabinet until about, I think, March or February the following year, which means I spent about 100 days trying to form government. Okay. Now, in 100 days, Governor Monday has more than...
partly formed government.
Forget about... I don't know about...
All right, can't wait.
He's running a lean government.
All right, thank you.
A lean government, saving money and using that money to do infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
Which is why I'm here.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Today he told me to commission equipment for the police for security, so that this thing can be much safer.
The senator representing Edo North Senatorial District. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, conversations with you are always very interactive, engaging, and of course very fruitful. We hope to have you here some other time, and we look forward to having more of these interactions. Thank you so much for obliging us your time today. Thank you.
Sonny, thank you for having me.
Whatever you think of the entire interview, please drop your comment on the comment section, and don't forget to follow the page. Once again, congratulations to Monday Okpebholo, Governor of Edo State, for the achievements so far recorded. More works are still ahead. And if I must suggest, I would advise, please, Bende Buri should be revived just the way you did to Edo Line, so that so many boys can be taken off the street. Once again, congratulations.